putting 7 elevators in here.
Okay, and they're all MRL?
These 2 are traction, the other 2 are MRL on the back, and the other one's are gearless. There's a whole slew of machinery here. Hey, with us. Hello. We're the elevator company. How you doing, Tommy? North American Elevator. Just keep it right here for a second.
Thank you.
These are the MRL elevators.
Okay.
These are brand new.
Okay.
What type of elevator is this?
Machine roomless. MRL.
This is the same technology that we just saw.
Right. So there's 2 different types. We were sharing back and forth so people understand. You always want to go with a cable elevator. I mean, that's the easiest way. Not the easiest way. They've been proven for years and years, which is an overhead traction. Then came out the MRL, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago. It started to slowly get its way into New York. About 8 years ago, it got on the pilot program. With the Hollister Whitney, the non-proprietary, we put in the first one at the Coyle's Day School under the pilot program, so that was pretty cool. And now we're putting a tremendous amount. We just did Harlem, we finished Harlem Hospital, Patrick's doing, we have these 2 MRLs, then we have very big gearless next door. But with your building, when you have a 5'5" by 5'4" shaft, once you put in any kind of traction elevator, you have counterweight rails and you have main rails. You're encroaching on your cab tremendously. So like Ralph Lauren Polo, which we just completed, that's a job that shows all the elevators in the building are hydraulic to maximize the space. And when you're not going too quickly, it's a perfectly great option to maximize the space by a huge amount. You're gaining 16 inches on your elevators by going with a rear cantilever roped hydraulic. So that's where you have all these balances that you have to say, do I want to go, do I want, now a lot of people are petrified of hydraulics, yes, Patrick could share, like if you haven't installed them and have a lot of experience, people aren't familiar with them. We put in a valve that's an electronic valve and the elevator runs like a cable elevator, which is pretty cool. So,
How big is the tank?
the tank on your elevator is about 100 and, the oil that'll hold about 120 in gallons, but no oil goes underground. The piston goes against the wall. The cables go from the floor around the piston to the back of the cab.
So if we put the cable, and is there any kind of, what I heard, like, there's a maximum height on a hydraulic, you can't go really too high?
Well, you don't want to go over 100 feet typically because of speed.
Okay, so now the deal is if we put ours, we have 8 floors, 75 feet, I think, from the street up, but we're gonna put the motor on it, we're gonna put this tank on the 3rd floor. So that adds to the deal, right? Because they're gonna come out of the tank, go down and come up, right? So if you got 3 floors and you got 8, all of a sudden that's 11, right?
No,
That's just an oil line.
that's just an oil line.
Okay.
So it's very simple. You put the machine room on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
We a lot of times put the machine room on the roof.
Yeah.
Then we run the oil line down to the bottom of the piston.
And how far high was that building? How many floors was that?
6 floors.
That was 6, okay.
Yeah, we do it all the time. And,
No, that was 6 though, right?
yeah, and we're doing right now. We have BJ's. We're just finishing.
So you can put the tank on the roof too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So on the 3rd floor, you're just running the pipe down. Now your building, we did the exact twins to your building. We have 3 of them, which you can walk over to. We have 319 Fifth Avenue. We have 20 Bond and 30 Bond are exactly your property. Same problem. We took out cable elevators. We put in the rope hydraulic elevators.
Where was the motor room?
The motor rooms are all in the basement on all these
We
3.
can't absolutely put in the basement.
That's okay. Yeah. And if you want the machine roomless elevator, that's not a problem either. We're installing a lot of those. We're doing them downtown right now at 391 Broadway, 20 floors. I would prefer if we put the machine above. There's all these different considerations.
Your estimate was for not an MR.
For a roped hydraulic elevator.
Yeah. Is it less expensive if we did an MRL?
I'd have to revisit the numbers. The material is pretty close in price. It's a matter of the construction of how you. It's not a huge difference on these elevators, which especially Patrick has the most experience. He had a huge challenge downtown. He did 131 Green, which we did for that artist. What was his
Mr. Babadio. He's a very hard name. Indian man, Avatar.
Right.
Avatar.
And his paintings are 10 feet. And we had to get them into the cab. So that elevator was an existing cable elevator, so we were able to replace the machine on that one. You're really constrained to space. I always look at it like, if I was to own the building, what would I do? And I honestly would only put in the roped hydraulic elevator to maximize space. That's what I would do. But if if you feel more comfortable on a cable elevator, you're going to encroach on your space. And if the space doesn't matter, the the way to go is always a cable up there. So you're stuck between space and what kind of machine do I want. The good news is
We've gotten, you know, a number of estimates from people.
Sure.
And, you know, that it's not that different in terms of cap space. I mean, it's a little different in cap space compared to your estimate on cap space. Like, you gave us a 4.7 by 5.7 for
By
cap
9 feet.
space.
By 5
Excuse me?
feet.
By 9 feet.
Oh, by
Oh,
9 feet, right.
the height.
It's the height is different, yes.
Yeah.
But we've got an estimate in not 4.7 by 5.7, but 4.5 by 5.5. It's a matter of inches difference.
That might be incorrect when you calculate the rails, because the rails need 8 inches on both sides, so you encroach on 16 inches. So I would do a full general layout first to double check that measurement, which is really important, because the problem with the rails on the side is how are you going to place your door, and your door is going to encroach inside your car. We do so many of them, we can just pull out different drawings and show you exactly. Yeah, and also with the MRL, you have a lot more construction on the top of the house. You have to suspend the whole load on the building. On a hydraulic, you suspend the load on the pit floor, which is just pour a 1-inch concrete slab and you're done. Because the load is 20,000 pounds on the top of the house or the pit floor.
And you guys guarantee that drum won't leak?
Yeah, it doesn't
You are?
leak. That's why I could show you 3 of them.
Yeah, no,
I
I
have
mean,
that so far.
No, so far so good in all the years we've been doing it. Yeah.
So you're saying that the cap size is not, that something's not accurate in those figures I just gave you?
I believe so. We can double check and I can send you the drawing, because I'll send you a physical drawing of how it's going to fit, because the counterweights, just the counterweights on the real wall, we have 6, we're taking on the drawings that we do 14 inches off the back wall. So that would take up the counterweight space, right? So with counterweights, we can get away with probably 12 inches. With the time the rails come off, we have 8 inches plus the distance. But the problem is not the problem, it's just where you encroach. Your rail is on the wall, your rail is 5 inches on each side, then you have a rail bracket. So there's your problem of plumbing it up and down the shaft. Where this way we attach all the brackets to the back of the shaft.
and the cantilever thing, like if you put a lot of weight in, that doesn't make
It won't move, it's built like a bomb.
Someone just told us that if you do a cantilever, apparently it's like a scale. Apparently it's a little bit like a scale. That if you have a lot of weight, it sort of
Well,
it
let me
just
give you
forward.
examples of how many roped hydraulics. The Apple store. Apple's a big corporation. They're going to want to they weigh out their options. We have a cantilever roped hydraulic on 14th and 9th for Apple. Then we have 319 Fifth Avenue. When you get on the ones that we install, there's 0 deflection. And the reason is we have a frame that we buy from Germany, which is, instead of using thin steel, the steel, how heavy is a license package? It's crazy, right?
Yes.
It's the
overkill if you ask me.
The mechanics complain, but once it's in, it's such a heavy elevator that's where you gain. Because a cantilever works from, we have 2 means of one is on the bottom. The more we go down, they have a triangle, so the rollers are lower. So there is no deflection. There can't be deflection. If you have a straight arm, yes, there is deflection. But once you go to a triangle and the rollers are lower, there's 0 deflection because you're.
So how much space do you need underneath then?
On the
Well, you
pit,
wouldn't be
we
able to
need-
go to the basement anyway.
The
You
pit
know
we
that,
need 5
right?
feet, and on an MRL you also need 5 feet.
Yeah.
But we can give you a proposal either direction. With the original proposal we went in was to save you space. That's how we really looked at it. We looked at giving you all the 3 walls open. You can go maximum to the walls. So that's how we went that direction on this.
Could you get us down to the basement?
I could, on short notice, I can get
No,
you.
in our building.
Can you get the elevator to go down to the basement in our
You
building?
have to dig it out, and we have to.
No, you can't.
The code calls for 6'8" door minimum,
Yeah. So
so
that never
you're gonna
happened
have
in
an
our
issue.
basement.
Yeah, no, because we don't have that, and you
Yeah.
have to
Because we were
dig
in
to
the
water.
sandy area, we're under our building, you go down 3-4 feet, you hit the river.
You have piles, right?
Yeah,
The building's probably built on piling.
yeah, oh, absolutely, it's built on